Hi, Paraton Weather Meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, June 9th. Another very, very humid start to the day here in the Mid-Atlantic region. There was some tremendous rainfall late yesterday into last night in areas north of the Mason-Dixon line, north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. This is a map that encompassed much of that rainfall, again with the heaviest rain across southeastern part of Pennsylvania. Chester County, for example, got inundated with some tremendous rainfall yesterday. 4, 5, 6 inches of rain being reported in some areas, and that is on top of some tremendous rainfall that fell last week. You know, it's very interesting that again, there's kind of a real difference in the overall weather pattern with this Mason-Dixon line, this Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Of course, it occurred over the past winter season with a lot of snowfall north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, not much at all in the D.C. metro region. Same sort of thing has been happening with the rainfall over the last couple of weeks. Some tremendous rainfall, mainly these slow-moving showers and thunderstorms north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, not so much in the D.C. metro region. Now, later today, I think the D.C. metro region could very well experience some of the heavy rainfall and strong thunderstorm activity that occurred late yesterday and last night in southeastern Pennsylvania. Even the cicadas are quite different in the D.C. metro region. They've been very, very thick and widespread, not quite as much north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Maybe it has something to do with the soil moisture or the snow cover from the past winter season. But again, localized flash flooding will continue to be a threat, especially in those areas that got pummeled by heavy rainfall late yesterday into last night. Well, here's the outlook as depicted by NOAA for the next 3 days, really from this morning all the way to Saturday morning. Again, from the Mid-Atlantic region all the way down into the south central states, some tremendous rainfall amounts over the next 3 days. This will be on top of what has fallen over the past 48 hours and really over the past couple of weeks. Again, parts of Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania late yesterday came up with anywhere from 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in some areas. Not unusual. The southwestern U.S. remains on the dry side this time of the year, but decent amount of rainfall from the Pacific Northwest coming over the next 3 days to the northern plains. Well, let's take a look at the current nationwide radar from WSI's and telecast.com. Nothing falling right now in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City, but this atmosphere is so loaded with moisture and quite unstable that after a few hours of daytime heating, don't be surprised to see some showers and thunderstorms as early as midday in the I-95 corridor region, and if not then, certainly by later this afternoon into the evening. And the overall wind field at the low and middle levels of the atmosphere very, very light. That increases the chance that any shower or thunderstorm cell will be a slow mover, and given the high levels of low-level moisture that's available for these showers and thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, flash flooding is certainly on the table again throughout the day today into tonight and really into the days on Thursday and Friday. We do get some drying by the upcoming weekend for the Mid-Atlantic region. A lot of rainfall out across the Tennessee Valley and again all the way down to Louisiana and Arkansas, and some rain over the next few days from the Pacific Northwest to the northern plains. Well, one way to tell how moist the atmosphere is to look at a map we call the Precipitable Water. This really is suggesting that if you can squeeze out the moisture in the atmosphere, these totals are the rainfall amounts that could be produced. And look at the bullseye right here across the Delmarva Peninsula showing 1.9 inches. That's just saying that that's the available moisture in the atmosphere. So any kind of uplift, any kind of upward motion could squeeze that out of the atmosphere and dump a couple of inches of rain in a hurry in this particular pattern. And really, the whole Mid-Atlantic region has high precipitable water amounts. In other words, high humidity levels. And you know that once you take a step outside dew points up in the lower to middle 70s in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor as we begin the day, and there was some patchy fog late last night, all as a result of wet grounds and very high moisture content in the lower part of the atmosphere. Well, let's walk through last night's operational run of the GFS. These maps from tropicaltidbits.com. Let's take a look at the 500 millibar level. A couple things I want to point out here. First of all, the wind field at 500 millibars showing up here with these wind barbs, and basically very, very light winds, not only in the lower levels of the atmosphere, but all the way up to the middle of the atmosphere, the 500 millibar level, and that leads to slow movement in any shower or thunderstorm cell that develops in this kind of a pattern, and that in turn increases the chance for some tremendous rainfall amounts over a given area. Now watch what happens over the next couple of days. We have an important change in the pattern. Notice this ridge out here over the central part of the U.S. by tomorrow morning tends to retrograde and kind of build back to the western states over the next several days. We'll watch that here as we go into the weekend and then into the pattern for the early part of next week. Here we are all the way into Tuesday of next week, and that ridge that was centered more over the middle and eastern part of the nation shifts to the west, as will the hottest weather relative to normal, shifting to the west by the time we get into the weekend and the early part of next week. And look at here in the northeastern quadrant of the nation, the southeastern part of Canada. That certainly spells some relief in the heat. There'll be some cooler air, cooler than normal air, pushing into the northeastern part of the nation, beginning really late this week. Friday, for example, could see temperatures closer to 70 degrees, even in the I-95 corridor region for afternoon highs, as compared with the 90 degrees expected this afternoon. But with this kind of a pattern, expect some cooler than normal conditions across the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S., including New England, during the early part of next week. Well, let's now wrap it up with the surface forecast maps from the 6Z GFS model run. Not much activity going on right now in terms of rainfall across the I-95 corridor region, but after a few hours of daytime heating, watch out. We'll have the return of showers and thunderstorms with the highest chance during the afternoon hours, but even as early as midday in some parts of the I-95 corridor region. And again, any shower or storm can produce some heavy rainfall. Localized flash flooding is a concern. Any thunderstorm can be on the strong side with some hail and certainly some tremendous rainfall as well, and some dangerous lightning. Let's move forward here into the day on Thursday. We do have a frontal system that kind of limps its way through the Mid-Atlantic region in the overnight hours and then just kind of stalls out. It does knock off several degrees from the temperatures. We may be, let's say, 85 to 90 degrees for afternoon highs today in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. By the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, it'll be closer to 80 to 85. However, there will be a continuation of the threat of showers and thunderstorms as that front just stalls out to the south, and some weak areas of low pressure right along that stalled out frontal boundary zone. Now, I will say this, that in the northern part of the Mid-Atlantic region, there will be enough drying to almost eliminate the chance for showers on Thursday. Let's say New York City, for example, could have a dry day and a much more comfortable day, but D.C., closer to where the front will stall out, certainly will continue to have a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Thursday, as will southeastern Pennsylvania. But you get up upstate Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, New York City could have a dry day on Thursday and Friday as well. And then there is some promise for the upcoming weekend. Here's a forecast map for Sunday morning. It looks like Saturday itself could be primarily a rain-free day, comfortably warm in the Mid-Atlantic region, and at least part of Sunday, the same conditions, comfortably warm, not excessively hot by any means, and generally rain-free. By the time we get to Sunday night into Monday, there'll be another frontal system that could throw some showers our way, and then watch for some cooler than normal conditions in the Great Lakes, New England, Mid-Atlantic region during the early part of next week. And by the way, longer term, let's say 10 days out from now, third week of June, very likely to see some tropical activity, probably centered over the Gulf of Mexico. So anywhere from Texas to Florida should be on the lookout for that in about 10 days or so. So we'll look for some tropical activity, the first, potentially the first of the Atlantic Basin tropical season. That's it for now. Very active weather pattern for ParatonWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.